Hello and welcome back. I am under the water. No, but seriously, I got another painting video for you today. Well, more of a color pencil. So what are we painting for today? Today we are painting for the California Fire Foundation. And as soon as this painting is done, which it's pretty close, it'll be auctioned off on eBay and all the proceeds of that sale will go to them. And then I'll start on one of the other projects on the channel, likely a Meowth and Jessie portrait my son wanted me to do for him. And then depending, we'll either start my next charitable project for summer or we'll pick something else from the list depending on how long that takes. And as always, I do take commissions. And even if you don't want to buy something, if you just want to recommend something, if there's something you want me to check out, if there's something you would like me to draw, or you just have a cool idea, but you don't have the money to buy something for yourself, I'd be happy to hear it, and I more than likely would end up drawing it on the channel, as well as hearing about any charities you think are worthwhile to draw for. If I ever do get special requests like that, I'll probably just make a very special section on my wall to put those on. But I don't have too many announcements for this episode, so without further ado, let's get drawing. Okay, welcome to the main segment. So, what did we do last time? I think I just touched up some shadow effects in the water, put more dark spots in the grass. You know, taking these pauses between my pictures, I really appreciate a lot that's in here more. One thing I had trouble with when I was a younger artist, you know, and I see this a lot with people, especially the kids who only draw on line paper. They say, and I was this way myself too, even though I was in school at the time, I can't come back to something because the passion doesn't retain and I mess it up. But I found as an adult, when you make yourself do it more, you like what you've done a lot more. So, we rip and we tore our way through the rest of this, and now we're at Bonsly. So, I'm going to take some liberties with the Bonsly. I'm going to try to make little wood striations for the shadowing. But I'm going to leave them really light. I don't want them to be super detailed, because he's really light. I'm going to fill in a little bit, and then probably come in with a darker brown and touch some of those up. Now, like here, the band, what you do creates shape, like how I'm making the lines. Here I'm doing them straight, I do them more curved there. And as I get around to about here, I'm going to start curving them again. I'm really sorry if you hear that guy with the beeping. It's one of my neighbors. Apparently decided to do that right when I have time to do this. You know, we all have bobcats out here, tractors, trailers. We all take the beeper out, but I have one neighbor who just absolutely refused to take the beeper off his, I guess for safety. He doesn't, you know, he wants his cows to know he's backing up. You know, I'm not going to rag. I think I have another video where I ragged on him where he did the same thing. That's about, though, as far as my animosity goes, I really don't care. You know, I find that I have two kinds of anger. The reactionary, which is like if you held your hand over a candle type thing, you know, you're going to pull away from the candle. And then the things I hold on to. And the things I hold on to, oddly enough, it's not like, oh, this person betrayed me this many years ago, I'm so upset about it. It's like, no, this motherfucker made a song that ran in an ad when I was 5 that I still have stuck in my head. Like, I'm more mad about that. I think it's this thing, it's still affecting me. So we're going to go with our dark brown now. And the lighting is coming from behind, so it's going to be a fairly dark Bonsly here. And I'm going to do different shapes than I did before. And it's actually giving them a nice, like, textury wood look. I might not have a lot to do on this video, actually. This is not taking very long at all. I got our picture frame here. We definitely won't frame it this episode. That'll probably be the start of next week's episode. Or I'll just show it at the start of next week's episode. And the reasoning for that is because I do plan to touch up with some white acrylic to add some extra layers of shine to this photo. Now I'm doing much softer lines now so that it kind of mixes with the harder ones and they blend. And I'm doing more around the corners. And the reason I'm doing more around the corners is to help give that illusion of shape here. So see, you can see I've done that leg in the band on his little sumo nappy thing. You know, at the risk of being marked as a weirdo, the traditional Japanese loincloth underwear actually pretty comfortable. You know, TMI, I actually have to use Under Armour type underwear. You know, if you're a bigger fella, or you're just bigger in general, or you have parts that rub together, makes it a lot easier. You know, I went through my whole life being the little fat kid, having to waddle home to spread eagle in front of the swamp cooler and try to get this horrible discomfort to go down. People be like, oh, put deodorant on it, put this cream on it. It just hurts. It just stings. It didn't help. And then I was like 26. I think I was like 26, and I found out about Under Armour underwear. And I had been a Copper Fit bully for years at that point. So I'm like, a special type of athletic garment for my nether region. And I got some, and it's kind of annoying because, like, you want to look, you know, you have a date maybe with a lady or something. You want to look, no, you got to wear that Copper Fit, bro. Or you got to wear that Under Armour, bro. It's just how it is. Or you're going to have a bad time. I put a little extra behind the berry. The raspberry, a little burn. He looks completely, he looks like a little chestnut now, doesn't he? I guess we ripped and tore our way through that one. Yeah, you thought the rip and tearing jokes were done. No, I'm probably going to figure out how to get more. I'll probably reference to this piece in the future, and that's going to be the only thing I remember about it. So, oh man, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I said I'm saving this guy for last, and I did. It's because I don't want to do him. It's going to be so hard. We'll start by filling in his eyes. I want him to look kind of glazy. So I'm not going to try to super saturate it. Because he has that, like, Patrick Star kind of, like, you know, I'm stuck under a rock mentality. That's kind of what's freaky about Exeggutor, isn't it? But, definitely going to try to give him some texture like I did here. So I'm going to go and put in his plant texture, and then I'll likely go in and add the burn marks to our boy. I'm going to start with his fronds, though. So, look, I got dark green, I got grass green, true green, and apple green. I'm going to start with this grass green here, do a little comparison. Because his fronds are super light. Oh, I already did different colors than the other ones. I think I used grass green and dark green. So let's start with the grass green. I'll do that to get a little shape in there. Now, personally, in nature, and this is like the next thing I think video games need to catch up on, and I doubt if they ever will, is there's a few things with plants. Like, I've been playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, and it is a gorgeous game. It is a gorgeous game. It is a fun game. But certain things are offset to me, and they're offset to me because, well, I worked in agriculture. I spent a lot of attention to plants and how they grow and what certain signs mean. Most people don't think, you know, you go out in your front yard, you have trees in there, you don't think those trees move. Most people don't. But if you actually watch them, you'll see they track the sun all day. They get droopy at night, like a closed umbrella. Some plants more than others. Like, you got some tomato plants. Of course, it's going to do it, that soft, flexible tomato is going to do it way more than your old, grizzled oak tree. But plants move. And when you look at plants, like up towards the top, you normally have a lighter, sharper green. and you'll have the more dead or browner or darker greens lower. So the lighter green is always new growth. And then the other thing, it's a mixture of that and plants directionally tracking the sun. You can see I kind of did it here like they're tracking the sun, but that's something they need to put in video games. And the only way they're going to be able to do it is if all the ornamental plants have some sort of thing where they're tracked to the light source. And it would have to be the natural sun-like light source and not like the light put off by the player. Which in most games, honestly, it seems to just, light is just everywhere. It doesn't really seem to have a source. They add shadowing. The direction is whatever they want it to be. I mean, you're getting more dynamic lighting now, but that is probably the next step to really help with the immersion and realism of games is dynamic plant growth and movements. Even if they could just mimic it. Because, like, to me it stands out. But it stands out to me because I had a job doing that. I think most people wouldn't notice that. It's like, I don't know. I'm going to pick something, sneakers. I'm not a sneaker guy. You know, I have to wear flat bottom shoes. I'm not that picky. I'm sure someone that really knows sneakers, they'd be able to spot the difference between like some fake Jordans and some real Jordans in a second. But to me, that just looks like a shoe with a little guy playing basketball on it. You know? I did like a few years ago, those Air Pippins came out. They were talking about them on American Dad. Bullock slaps the ball down. Not in my house. Now, as for the green, like I was talking about with the green, you know, I believe I talked about this before on the channel. People in Papua New Guinea, they did color splotches with them, and they actually had allegedly the ability to see more shades of green than people from more developed countries that they tested them on, because these people are hunting canopies like 5 stories tall, shooting a lizard the size of a turkey or smaller. And, you know, when I saw that, I started asking people about plants, the things I'm talking to you about now, and hardly, except for my father and a few other people that work at a nursery, and not even everyone that worked at that nursery. It was a really old kind of one of those, you know, plant ladies you see on Instagram. They knew. So I think most people just don't. They just don't. Most people don't pay attention to living beings around them, let alone the ones that can't talk. You know? Let's do some lines in through here. Because if you look at palms, is they have these striations, these lines that it grows out from and fills in. And I feel like he's a palm mimic, you know. So if you're trying to mimic something in nature, you want to look like it. I had many art teachers who said, there's no straight lines in nature. And then it's like, show them the Giant's Causeway in Ireland. And they're like, well, that's different. It's just don't try to make large sweeping rules for everything that don't apply. It's like those assholes who are like, cheese doesn't go with fish. That's not proper cooking. And then they're like, I have shrimp Alfredo. It's delicious. You know, rules are just formed on other people's experiences. But we'd never grow as a species. We'd never grow in our knowledge if we didn't break the rules. Or even stuff I do. If you see me do something, you're like, hey, I think if I do it like this, it'll be better. I want you to do it. And you know what I want you to do when you do it? Well, afterwards, is I would love it if you came back here and you told me, hey, I seen you doing this and I tried this and it worked out better. Or you could say, hey, I saw you doing this and I tried this and I had a much harder time. Because that kind of anecdotal evidence will help me improve my art, it'll help you, and it'll help anyone else that sees it. That's really the only purpose of this channel at this part is me trying to accumulate good karma. Me trying to spread positivity through the world. Me trying to help people. Me trying to feel like there's more purpose to what I do every day. Something I know a lot of us lack. That is why, again, charity. Doing charity. You know, with my last channel ideas like the kids, I mean, I was doing it, dude. I was getting good growth and whatnot. But the kind of marketing tactics, I didn't like them. I didn't like having to deal with them. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel good. And I was like, you got to be yourself, Rick. So we did our touch-up greens, and wow, does he look like smoochy. So now I got my dark. And I'm just going to put this around the edges. I'm going to softly radiate this into the edge where it's got shadow over. Yeah, like that, bro. And why am I concentrating on the edge? Well, I've talked about this before. If you notice, when you have light bending around something, there's like a light layer and then a darker layer. And it's usually like if something's completely over silhouetted, it's still a bit lighter in the middle. Man, our Bonsly is just a completely different tone. He kind of reminds me of, who are those weird little bird people? The Skull Kids from Legend of Zelda, the one that took the mask. I love Majora's Mask, bro. This is my first Zelda. It's my favorite Zelda. Oh, the other one seemed like downgrades. But, man, I love that game. Speaking of Pokemon, by the way, they're giving out... Well, no, they're not giving out. They're selling for like $40 or some shit. Leaf Green and Fire Red, which isn't even the best version of the original Pokemon games on the Switch. It should be something they give you, especially if you're buying that yearly service crap. Like, that should be free. There's already a ton of those games that are free on there. Like, just... I mean, I'm not gonna be... I love Pokemon, alright? I love the happy, feel-good, all that, childhood nostalgia. I don't like the company. I don't like what the company's becoming, and I don't like their little... I didn't like their tactics when I was a kid, and it's worse now that I'm an adult, and I see how it's like, oh, especially how they use FOMO. They use FOMO to get you to buy stuff like the Pokebank. I said, well, they're just going to lock your Pokemon in there and delete ones they say aren't right. And they did that, and, you know, a lot of people lost access to stuff. But, you know, I also said Steam was kind of horrible, and it's better now. Years later, that I have internet, and, like, they worked it out. Okay, it's kind of cool having everything hubbed. I upgraded my computer. I could pick the games I want, move them over. The fact, though, that I would buy things like the Mirror's Edge Catalyst Collector's Edition for the statue, and I specifically bought a physical copy and then get a plastic little case that's hidden in the box. The box is built around it to open it up and have a download code for Steam. When I didn't have internet, was super irritating. So we're just going to do a little peach on their faces now. Give them a little. You know, peach might not have been the best color choice for this, but it's hard to find good colors for Exeggutor. Like, he's kind of like a yellow. I feel he's like a light mustard yellow, like mayo tart if you mixed mayo and mustard. A little heavier on the mayo. You know, white people, they like to say things like, I'm about to get canceled. They love to say how, like, mayonnaise is spicy. But whenever I have a white person tell me mayonnaise is spicy, I ask them, Miracle Whip or Hellmann's? And see, some of you, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people know what Miracle Whip is, but you might be like, what is Hellmann's? And if you have to ask, I don't think you're white. And if you're white, you probably know. Honestly, you should be able to figure it out from the context of it's mayo. Alright, his face, shadowy. Check how that's showing up on camera. You really don't see any of it. That's one of those things I said before. The details a lot get lost here. Now let's start with his foot. You know, while we're working on this, anyone figure out what they want for dinner? I was thinking about myself. I really want a cheeseburger, but I don't have the stuff to make them. I don't want to drive and go buy one, especially because like my car, like end of the month, if I drive, I have to put gas in it. I like to wait till I can fill my tank all the way up. That already looks, way more three-dimensional, so we're just going to continue the pattern. And it's going to get cut off right about there, so. And I'm putting more details than I need to. So sorry about that. Sounds like my family came home. See where I have those overly bold ones, I'm just putting more softer ones around it, and it kind of helps save what I messed up. I'm not too sure if I want to go add the white touch-up. Yeah, I do, because I want sparkle on the water. Sparkle on the water. Dun, 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 dun. You know, anyone out there, question for anyone that plays guitar out there. What was the first song you learned? For me, it was Smoke on the Water, and I found a lot of other people with Smoke on the Water. And that's actually how I learned about that song. And I wonder, like, is there a reason why our guitar teachers, besides they smoked weed, did that? You know, I'm sure we all had the art teacher. Well, not everyone had an art teacher, but you went in the art teacher's room, it smelled funny, and you're like, oh, it must be the pottery. And you realize there was no it was just the pot. I liked how whenever someone would see like a kid with a joint, they would bring the dogs and sniff us all at the school and whatnot, make us leave our stuff in the room, but the pottery was fine. If you were a teacher, I guess. And it's still illegal at the time. What's funny is they'll tell you, those dogs, they can sniff weapons. They cannot. They couldn't sniff shit. They smelled drugs. They were drug dogs. They told you weapons because they didn't want to tell you that they were searching the students for drugs. But they'd take you into dare and tell you to rat on your family. Okay, so, that looks pretty good. Now, I'm a little concerned with how I'm going to do the burns. Well, it looks like we've been going about our go time, so I might save the burns for later. But I'm going to practice a little bit right here. So you can see me draw live. So, since this was not getting watercolored, I'm just going to, like, just draw something really quick. These legs are a little something to be desired. They look like freaking Gen 1 sprites. Oh, look at all the fire. Oh. Okay. I thought that'd be better than just me rubbing on nothing. So let me find my black. Mixing this blue up with it. Sharpen real quick. So what I'm thinking is I'm just going to do a little like that. I'm trying to make it look like flames, like if you take a Bic lighter right now and you get like a piece of wood and you over the edge, you're gonna get little wisp of where the flame tried to like whip around it. It doesn't just look a bad example, but it looks like the Hiroshima shadows. Like you could tell where the fire made contact when there's a lot of burn off or something. I'm gonna take some poppy red and just this is like the embers. This is like where it's burning still. Oh yeah, I'm liking that. So let's get some deeper red, some rogue red, because when you have something smoldering, it's often not a hot flame, it's a deep ember, right? Oh, I really like that. So like if we do that and then we go back and we add more dark around it, not in it but around it, so it stands out more. Some more of those lashes, and then we just do some. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna do something like that, and I'm gonna come back and practice that more in our next video because this one's gone for quite a while today. And I think honestly, like I could just package this one up as is, but the message would be completely lost. We gotta get those fire details in there. So yeah, next time we're gonna add some burns to our Executor, unfortunately. But you know, a small moment of suffering will hopefully do a lot of good when this sells. You know, my videos, they're not making too much money right now, but I figure as I get more popular, more money for the charities, and of course I'm going to revisit them. As always, if you have anything you'd like to request, or you want to request any charities for me to paint for, I'm more than happy to hear them. I'm actually elated to hear anything from my fans, or anyone that watches my videos, because, I mean, it feels good to get feedback about what you're doing, and it greatly helps my channel. So anything you could do to help out would be great. And again, if you want to donate to the California Fire Foundation, their donation link will be available in the description of this video. You know, we'll have another Fish Friday video, a big compilation one coming out this Friday, which will just be videos of the fish swimming. Carpe Diem, by the way, is starting to adjust good. Tempura's really the only one that ever teases him. He just chases him for a second. He's a big fat boy. But there's definitely more to come in the future. And whenever you come back here, whatever the reason, until then, I hope you stay safe, and I hope to find you again and have another moment much like the one we're having now. But for now, have a good day, and I'll see you again.